Good afternoon, Steve. Final game of the season, what feels like a never-ending season. With a lot of noise off the pitch to do with administration, points deductions from other teams, is the whole focus have to be on taking care of business ourselves come tomorrow night?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can't affect what happens in the decision making. What we can affect is what goes on the pitch tomorrow evening, and that's our main objective and our primary focus. Yeah, them are all issues that go on away in the grander world of football. You know, this is entirely about us now.
When you look at the Charlton and Preston North End performances, there are nuggets of positivities that I presume you'll be hoping to harbour and hold on to going into the derby game.
Most definitely. You know, I just wish we had a few more games just to see the progress that has been made. I think I'd like to think that they would see progress that has been made over the last few games. You know, we look very much more compact. We're creating more chances, although we'd like to see the keeper work more. But it would have been nice to have a little bit more time on the training pitch to actually coach the team, so to speak, rather than just prepare for the games. But it is what it is, and you know, we come down once again to Birmingham City end of the season, where we find ourselves going into the last game, you know, needing something from it. But you know, all the stuff that goes on outside we can't control, and you know, we just have to focus in on, as you quite rightly say, on the last game of what seems a very long season, one that has thrown your body completely out of sync in terms of the football calendar. You know, this time of the year we're normally thinking pre-season and thinking about the start of the first game of the season, what your team's going to look like and that. But it is completely different. Yeah, we go into tomorrow's game painfully aware of we knowing what's at stake.
You always speak so positively about the atmosphere on the training pitch and the work that you have to do with the players during the week. How do you then translate that onto the pitch at St Andrews?
Well, it's you know, you can't. That's the thing. That's the frustrating thing as a coach. You know, I was only talking to someone the other day, and they was, you know, asking me if I get nervous and that, and the difference between playing and I think the difference when you're playing, as soon as you step out on that pitch for the warm up, your nerves start to go. Whereas on a coach, you know, you're on the touchline and you're beholden to the players. Everything you've done in the week is left with them, and you can tweak things and that, but you don't have a major control over what goes on the pitch because they're playing against an opposition as well. But it's something that I've really enjoyed, and it's, you know, the whole coaching staff, Craig, Mike, Stuart, Flav, and all the you know, the fitness coaches, the masseurs, the physios, and that. It's a team thing that goes on, and everybody's put in such a shift, and it'd be nice for all that hard work to be rewarded with the points.
When you go in for a run, as we have been now for some time, people looking for reasons, and you're scratching around to try and find out why that is, and quite often you hear accusations that players simply don't care. Now, you've been a player, you've been close enough to this group of players before. Is that simply not the case when you're professional at Blues?
Not the case that I've seen working with the players. As I said, they've been very attentive. They've, you know, we haven't asked them to do something that's completely different from what they've been used to, because, you know, we just haven't got that time. Whether it be working with the players or where we are in the season, it's about trying to harness all the strengths of the individuals, putting it together and coming up within the framework of the team and trying to get the best. But certainly them players, I haven't seen anyone, even if they're out of the team, sulking. They've give it their all. They've trained hard, and I just hope that they get some rewards for their work, because they thoroughly deserve it.
It's just cutting out those lapses then. You think of the goals that we've conceded in recent weeks, they're momentary lapses, whether it's concentration or losing a player, that's the fine difference between getting a result and not.
Yeah, that is the dividing line at the moment, and sometimes it's with the greatest intent, because they're eager to do something, and we spoke about making sure that our brains rule our hearts, because your heart, when you're pumped up and out, will tell you to go and do this and go and do that, but yet you have to remain calm and focused, and not follow the instincts of your heart, but let your brain rule it, and stay calm and composed, so you can make the correct decisions.
We have fallen behind in games recently. How important is the first goal when confidence levels are as they are? Massive. Yeah, that can affect the whole mindset. So we're aware of that. But you're playing against an opposition who are doing their very best to try and cause that problem for you. So we'd like to be able to go in front, but by the same token, if we don't, we must stay focused and remain positive and confident of getting back into it. As you said, that there's been some positives, and one of them is the fact that we're creating a lot more chances than we have previously. Now we just got to try and convert them into goals. Mm-hmm. What do you make of Derby County aside, who up until recently were sniffing in and around the playoff shake-up? What do you make of them as a side?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times. It's one of my old clubs, and it's where I live in the city, and so I still know one or two of the coaches there, and my son is living in California, and he's every single game he watches, gets up early in California and watches the games about 4:00 in the morning over there for him. So he's always informing me about them, and I'm surrounded by Rams fans where I live, and they're always quick to tell me how well they're doing, and how well we haven't been. So hopefully we can address that situation tomorrow.
Absolutely. The big news that obviously broke this week, I know you've been questioned time and time again about Jude Bellingham off to Borussia Dortmund after Wednesday. This will obviously be his final appearance should he play on Wednesday night in a blue shirt. How big of a case would it be for him, knowing just how much he cares about this football club?
He'll be doing everything possible. He won't be in his mind his move. His mindset is that he's being paid by Birmingham City, and he'll be representing them until he actually gets on that plane and goes over to Dortmund, and then he'll represent them in the manner of professionalism that he's displayed all along. So he'll be eager for this football club to do well, and I know he'll always be looking at Blues results wherever he is in the world.
Absolutely. Is the bigger picture, and this is looking beyond Jude, that the club need to get to a position where young players not only see it as a pathway as the likes of Nathan Redmond, Jack Butland, Damari Gray and now Jude Bellingham has done, but also be in a position where they can keep hold of their best assets as well?
Yeah, it would be lovely to be able to do that, but we know that that would be the ideal world. That'd be perfect, but we know that books have to be balanced, and pounds, shillings and pence. Mind you, they might be things of the past now, the virus, it might be a credit card. But, joking aside, it keeps the club going, and players want to come and play at the football club because they know there's a pathway. It's not just a pathway into the first team, there's a pathway beyond if you do the business. And the names you've mentioned there is, they're the trailblazers for the rest of the ones coming up, who, if you're a football club who are trying to recruit and you've got no one to hold up and say, look, this is what such and such done. And it's not always the ones who are playing in the Premier League. There's lots of ex-Blues players now playing in the Football League. Players sometimes find their ceiling of their level on that, but it's a wonderful opportunity for players to come here knowing that they'll get really good coaching by all the coaches throughout the age groups. They'll get a good education in life and being about the right kind of person as well. So I know I'm bound to say it, but it's a wonderful football club for a young player to come to, and all them players who we've mentioned and the other ones that we haven't would obviously endorse it and echo them sentiments that I'm saying.
Like many players, all players really, Jude tends to run off and celebrate his goals with the supporters. How big a pity and a shame is it that for his final appearance at the club, the stadium's again empty?
Yeah, it would be great, wouldn't it? It would be great. Yeah, that's a really sad thing that's just not affected football. It's affected the performers, the players, but it's really affected those people who'd love to come and get behind the club and behind the players and really support them. And Jude would have loved it, or any player come to think of that, to score the winning goal. It's their boyhood dreams and that, aren't they? But to do it for your hometown club and that is it must be very, very special.
Final question, in terms of injuries, how are we shaping up? Anything fresh off the back of it?
No, nothing fresh, no.
All good to go?
All good to go.
Thanks as always, Steve.
Thanks very much, thank
Cheers.
you.